Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been a while. So this is a new project I've been working on. I know, yeah, new project. Still gonna finish one someday. Before we get started, I just want to say this video is brought to you by Masso. So thanks a lot, Masso. If you guys had a 2-axis injection molding machine controller, I'd probably use it. A lot of stuff's actually been happening in the last 3 months. So the first thing is I switched roles within the company I work at. So I was a prototype tester and now I'm a production designer. So basically what I do is I design machinery and equipment for our production technicians to make our products with. That's gone really well. That's been sort of tabletop machines, I guess, so that's a pretty good fit. The team is pretty awesome. The only thing that wasn't great was that a week into my new role, I actually tripped on my dog's leash at work in front of everyone and fell, and I broke my arm. So that was sort of 6 weeks done. It was my right arm, so I wasn't allowed to do any keyboarding or mousing or anything like that. My first broken arm CAD project was basically to design a blower that fit down my cast. So what are you looking at right here? This is a new project. I know. I start a lot of new projects. I have problems finishing old projects. But I think this one is going to go pretty well because it's like 90% done. The only thing I've got to do is cut flights on the screw. And I've got to figure out the electronics because the electronics were working up until I hit record on this video. And now apparently they're not working. So that's been fun. Let's get started on how the design came about. Basically, we've got 3 major components to the injection molding system. We've got these 2 plates here. These are going to be the extruder and the fixed half of the mold. We've got a moving plate here, and that's going to be the moving side of the mold. And then we've got an actuator back here that moves the mold and obviously needs to have its own plate. So before I get going, this design was influenced by a design I saw while I was being Mr. Broken Arm on the couch. I'll link to his video in the description. So this is a NEMA 34 motor off of Tormac. The one at work we replaced the motors on because they had since upgraded the type of motor and we wanted to stay current. So I got the old motors, which was great. You can see here I've got a GT5 timing belt. I've got it geared down a little bit going to the extruder. Now if I can take these off. You can see I'm using back-to-back tapered roller bearings with a nut that apparently didn't stay tight. I have to Loctite that. So I actually designed this backwards originally. I designed this so that the bearing retainer was sitting on a shoulder inside of this plate, and that would resist the forces pushing back. But then I decided the one thing that I've learned from 3D printing extruders is that you have to plan for them to clog, because they'll always clog someday. So this guy's actually extractable from the rear. So I pull that out. That is going to have flights cut into it and be the screw. I had started out with using a wood auger, which is the sort of traditional maker way of doing it, I guess. It's one of those auger bits. But I found it was difficult to work with and it wasn't straight. So I was like, so we have a lathe at work with live tools, so that shouldn't be a problem at all. But it turns out it's actually reasonably difficult in HSM Works to program simply threading with a live tool. I'd love to hear if you guys have any suggestions, because right now it's looking a lot like a Dremel job. So this is the extruder block up here. It's made out of solid material. It's threaded on the front for M25 by 1.5. It just bolts onto this plate here, and it's actually got a PTFE gasket, a Teflon gasket, holding it onto here. And the idea there is it's just going to slow down the heat flow a little bit. I'm sure it's probably not going to be good for continuous duty, but we're going to try it out and see how it goes. Up here you can see I've got one of these thermocouples. One thing is you should probably order extras of these, because whether they're advertised as 1/4 inch or M6 from China, it doesn't seem to make any difference to them, and they'll just send, you know, whatever. So I got 3 of these. 2 of them were M6, one was 1/4 so I'm glad I ordered a bunch. These are just cartridge heaters. They're just like the ones on 3D printers. I've got 3 of them around this. That was kind of an arbitrary number, but it does heat up extremely fast. So that's pretty good. This entire barrel I'm going to redesign. I know, so close to finish the project, I'm just going to redesign it. But it should go pretty quickly. I think a big motivation for this project was that I know how to use the Haas now. That works.
We are turning off the coolant so you still can't see anything. Boom!
Like, all 4 of these plates took 1 evening to make, which was amazing. Water jet this out. 8020 is obviously, well, the T-slot extrusion is obviously pretty easy to make. So this whole project actually came together really quickly, which is kind of how I'm justifying to myself that it's not really a new project. It's kind of just an experiment. So at the rear of the machine, you can see this NEMA 23 actuator motor. So these are pretty cool, but they're really expensive. So when I put the plans up for this on Patreon, I'm going to spec something different. It's basically a NEMA 23 stepper motor, but it's got the nut inside and the nut turns. And this spline here is actually attached to a screw that moves in and out. So basically you run it just like a normal stepper motor, and instead of rotating, it moves in and out like that. One thing that is missing is the ejector pins. So those are going to come in through the back here. And the molds are actually just a cavity. So that's the fixed side there. The moving side looks similar. I don't really have space to move the camera with the tripod on, but it's got these holes in the back, and those are going to have pins coming out to touch some kind of a contact plate. And then there's going to be another plate on the inside that has the actual ejector pins that are machined into the mold. So I think that should be okay. Definitely, if you have any experience with injection molding, I'm sure a lot of people do. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I've learned so much about rock crushers, and it's absolutely amazing just because I made that one video on rock crushers. So I might make another rock crusher at some point. I don't know. A lot of people have actually been asking if I sell them too, so I might make a sellable version. Who knows? I might have a rock crusher business in 5 years. The hopper is actually going to attach up here. This is the right size for a pop bottle. So I'm hoping to have a pop bottle go up here, and it's going to come in through a hole in the side of the heating barrel, and it's going to melt the plastic in there. Alright, so I guess that is the front of the machine. Obviously put a handle on it so I can, take it to parties and stuff. Okay, we're going to move this backwards. Oh, here. Everything I make is small, but it's pretty heavy. I'm using fidgets. So fidgets are, by their own words, physical widgets. So I think basically it's a prototyping system. So they'll have a USB hub, which is this part here, and that breaks out using their own, I think it's an I2C based system that they call vInt. And that breaks out to different modules. So this one is a thermocouple, this one is a relay. These two are stepper motor ones with the automotive fuse, which I actually really like. So far, things have been going pretty well. I've had to contact customer support twice, and they were very friendly. One thing that seems to happen is they always suggest something I've already tried, and I do it again, and it works. I don't know if they have a switch there that they turn on to make things work, but anyways, yeah, the customer support's been very friendly. And I was going to show you it running at the bench here because I have my laptop right here. I got the USB cables, but today the Fidget's thermocouple reader stopped working. I'm really happy with how the prototype has come together, but I think for the final presentation of it, I guess, I'm going to maybe do my own PCB or maybe run it off of a Roomba board. This is very similar to a 3D printer in the sense that you've got temperature monitoring, and then you've got motion and, fan, screens, all that. So I think I can just take a Roomba board, reprogram it a bit, and hopefully get most of what I want done to work. Up here you'll recognize is the solid state relay that I seem to get stuck using all the time. I got this from Fidgets as well. No problems with it. The stepper drivers are good for the NEMA 23. I find for the NEMA 34 they're extremely grindy. They only do 16 times microstepping, so it was always going to be a little bit coarse, and I don't know. I mean, I've been tuning them, and it seems to work okay in their little Windows plugin thing, but when I run it in the script, it's pretty crunchy, and sometimes it reverses direction, which is also a little unnerving. So, yeah, like I said, I might switch this design over to like a Arduino-based or a Roomba-based or something like that. So I've got a fan here, and that'll be for the stepper drivers. We'll see how hot they get. They haven't been a problem so far. The other thing I might add is a blower to actually blow on the heating block. And what that'll do is it'll give me a faster time constant for when I'm controlling the temperature. Basically, if you only turn the heaters off when it's at the right temperature, you'll overshoot. so you have to turn the temperature off a little early. And if you have a fan on it, you can wait till you're a little closer before you turn the heaters off. I'm not a controls expert. I have a hard time explaining it, but basically it gives you a little more control over the heater. So let's stick with that. I also wired this homing switch up, and hopefully it's going to be able to automatically detect where it's supposed to be locked up, and I shouldn't have to jog it in every time. That being said, this is entirely software controlled now, so I run a Python script on my laptop and it moves it around. You'll see a video of that soon. Inject. The only thing with doing that is you don't have very much control over it when you say you just need to move something backwards for a second, or when you want to test if something is working, so I might add a little bit more of a user interface to it. Anyways, this thing is almost done, so hopefully I'll have a video of it up and running soon. Naturally, I'm going to put the plans and CAD up on Patreon for patrons who have been extremely patient with me these past couple months, so I appreciate that. Alright, so I'm going to leave it at that for this. I really wanted to have more footage of it running. I really wanted to finish this project before I even announced it, but I feel that it's been so long with me not posting a video, I'm at least mentally kind of falling behind a bit. Anyways guys, thanks a lot for watching. Cheers!